Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for being here today. If you are new to my channel, if you are interested in tarot cards, tarot readings, true crime cases, unsolved cases, and even maybe candle making, please consider subscribing because I try to do all of the above. I do hope that everyone had a safe and happy New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. I hope this year finds you healthy, happy, prosperous, and filled with abundance. So here's to a wonderful 2021. Today's reading is going to be about Amy Lynn Bradley. Again, I'm starting to get into the cases that have been suggested to me by viewers, and so I thank you for that. This one here is one that I am familiar with, but I did have to go back and do a little bit of digging because I needed the names and I wanted to know some of the dates and the places and the people involved. And so I did kind of go back. I've actually tried recording this video a couple of times already, but it just seemed like every time I recorded it, either, my phone started ringing in the back or, someone walked in and started talking to me, didn't know I was recording. So I've been kind of, trying to get this up for the last 24 hours. And so I'm hoping that this is the one that makes it. Let's keep our fingers crossed and pray that this is the one that makes it. But anyway, I am going to read the case history. It's just a couple of paragraphs on Wikipedia, and I will go ahead and link that in the description box below so that you can read that article if you want to. And then we'll go ahead and we'll get started on the tarot reading. I've got 3 tarot decks today. I've got the Haunted House Tarot, the Light Seers Tarot, and the New Era Elements Tarot. I don't typically use the Light Seers deck very often in my tarot readings, but for whatever reason, this deck was kind of calling to me today, and so I decided to go ahead and pull it, and we'll see what it has to say. This woman has been gone for a very long time. We are getting into the 20-year range, so it's been a while. But we'll talk more about that in a minute. So let me go ahead and read this, and then we'll get started. So on March 21st, 1998, Amy Lynn Bradley, her parents Ron and Iva, and her brother Brad left for a week-long cruise on Rhapsody of the Seas. On the morning of March 24th, Bradley had been drinking with the ship's band, the Blue Orchid, in the dance club. One of the band members, named Alistair Douglas, known as Yellow, claimed he parted ways with Bradley at about 1 a.m. Sometime between 5:15 a.m. and 5:30 a.m., Bradley's father, Ron, saw her asleep on the cabin balcony. When he got up at 6 a.m., however, she was no longer there. He later said, quote, "I left to try and go up and find her. When I couldn't find her, I didn't really know what to think because it was very much unlike Amy to leave and not tell us where she was going," end quote. The ship had left Aruba and was en route to Curacao at the time Bradley was last seen, and docked there shortly after it was realized that she had gone missing. Extensive searches on the ship and at sea produced no signs of her whereabouts. The Netherlands Coast Guard concluded a 4-day search that ended on March 27th, and Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines chartered a boat to continue looking for her, but they ended their search on March 29th. Bradley was a trained lifeguard, and investigators said that there was no evidence that she had fallen overboard and none that she died by suicide either. There were possible sightings of Bradley in Curacao in 1998 and 1999. 2 Canadian tourists reported seeing a woman resembling Amy on a beach in Curacao in August of 1998. The woman's tattoos were reportedly identical to Bradley's, and one of the 2 men said he was 2 feet away from her and said he was sure it was her with complete, full certainty. Bradley's tattoos include a Tasmanian devil spinning a basketball located on her shoulder, the sun on her lower back, a Chinese symbol located on her right ankle, and a gecko lizard on her navel. She also had a navel ring. A member of the United States Navy stated that he had seen Bradley in a brothel in 1999. He claimed she told him that her name was Amy Bradley and she begged him for help, explaining that she was held against her will and not allowed to leave. There was another potential sighting in 2005 when a witness named Judy Maurer claimed to have seen Bradley in a department store restroom in Barbados. The witness claimed a woman entered the restroom accompanied by 3 men who proceeded to threaten her if she did not follow through on a deal. The witness alleges that after the men had left, she approached the distraught woman, who then said that her first name was Amy and that she was from Virginia, before the men re-entered to take her away. Morrow called authorities, and they created composite sketches of the 3 men and the woman based on her account. Bradley's mother and father appeared on the November 17th, 2005 episode of Dr. Phil. An image of a young woman resembling Bradley that was emailed to her parents was shown to the program, and it suggests that she might have been sold into sex slavery. There's currently a $250,000 reward offered by the Bradley family for information leading to Bradley's return, and a $50,000 reward for information leading to her verifiable location. The FBI is offering a $25,000 reward for information leading to her recovery. Renewed attention was paid to her case after the disappearance of Natalie Holloway in 2005. So that again is just a brief account to the situation. Again, we're looking at something that took place in 1998, so it's been a while. They've already mentioned this person named, what was his name again? Alistair Douglas, known as Yellow. And then we have this other witness who claimed that she seen her in a department store bathroom in Barbados with 3 men. So I kind of do feel like there's some credibility to these witnesses, and I do in my heart of hearts feel like she is alive. But I do want to focus on that morning. So when I pull the cards, I think I'm going to start with the Light Seers deck. I want to start with that morning. What happened that morning when her dad went to go see her. Her dad wakes up at 5:15 a.m. He goes out and he sees her sitting on the balcony, and he goes back to bed, and then he wakes up again a half an hour later and she's gone. So I really want to, in the beginning, I want to focus on what happened in that 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, so let's see what we can get. So, and I also do want to quickly add that when it says extensive searches on the ship, we're done. It has come out after that, and this is an article on Wikipedia, so you would expect them to have, updated information. But I watched an interview earlier today where the parents actually said that they found out later that there was actually no extensive search done on this ship. Okay, so when they reported their daughter missing, they went to the ship. They asked the ship if they would stay docked, and they would, lock it down so that no one could leave, so that they could do a proper search. The ship refused. They did say that they were going to search, and they told the family that they did search, but come to find out, they actually did not do a thorough search. So is this another case of just dropping the ball in the beginning? Is this, it just seems like in all of these cases, these serious big cases that go unsolved, it seems like it was something that was allowed to happen due to maybe incompetence, negligence, or is it something more sinister? Does this cruise ship, do they turn a blind eye? Do they know what's going on right under their noses, or do they even partake in it? Is there something more sinister to them not searching, is what I'm asking. So, definitely something to keep in your mind, in the back of your mind as we're pulling cards. But for now, I want to go back to the morning of March 24th, 1998, between the hour of 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. and see what we can learn. I do believe that Amy is alive, and I am still going to be referring to Amy when I'm shuffling the cards, because I do believe that you can still definitely pull on somebody's energy. And they don't have to be passed away or anything. It's no different from you or I reading tarot cards for each other or ourselves. You can still pull on that energy. So what happened to you in that 1 hour? In that morning? Take us back to that morning. Okay, what happened that morning? happened that morning. Tell us what happened that morning. 5:30 to 6. March 24th. On the Rhapsody of the Seas on the ship. What happened that morning? Okay, Three of Wands, King of Cups. Can you see this here? Okay. Oops, I pulled 2. 3. The Sun, the 4 of Cups, the 10 of Cups. Okay, or the 10 of Pentacles, rather. So first thing I'm noticing is that we've got 2 3s. Okay, so 3 is the number of creation. This is, neither one of these are necessarily bad cards per se. This whole drawing is not necessarily bad. Not what I expected to have come out for the first pull. But definitely there's something going on with 3, and we do have this witness in Barbados saying that she seen or overheard 3 men talking to this woman in the bathroom. So this is kind of, and you know, this right here, you know, we know she has some tattoos. She had the one on her back shoulder. You know, so I kind of almost feel like, is this her? And what does this mean? Because this is kind of like a friendship card. This is a having a good time card. So this could actually just be her building us up to this morning. You know, was this the you know, the atmosphere leading up to this event? Was it a happy, enjoying, having fun, you know, drinking, enjoying time with friends and family or people that you're meeting? I kind of am getting that kind of vibration. And look, we do have water, you know, so we've got the surfboard, we've got, you know, we've got the water. So, you know, this person here is on land, she's on the beach, and she's looking out. So very interesting with that. 3 of Wands, 3 of Wands. Huh. This can also be an exploration card. You know, some tarot decks actually have the 3 of Wands named as exploration. So I kind of do feel like this was just her kind of dipping her feet in the water at that time of her life. And, you know, this trip was kind of, I think, a big moment, something to look forward to. I do believe that, if I'm not mistaken, she was meant to start a new job when she returned. This was kind of like that beginning moment of her life. I think once this vacation was over, you know, her life was just about ready to begin. You know, she was 23 years old. I think she had just graduated from college, if I'm not mistaken. She was due to start this new job in the career of her choice. And so definitely a good time in her life. And I do think that these cards are representing that. 10 of Pentacles, I think this was her family. It represents her and her family. I think that they were a tight-knit family, very close, very happy. And then we've got the King of Cups. So who is this? Is this her father? Is this someone else? So definitely kind of keeping that in mind. I don't think we have enough information yet. And then we have the 4 of Cups, which can sometimes be that tantrum card. I like to call it my tantrum card. So this is, you know, someone offering her something and she doesn't want any part of it. So all of these other cards to me are really kind of pointing to her life and her attitude at that time, okay? And things were going good. But there is something going on here where somebody had offered her something or giving her, they're giving her some sort of a proposal or option or gift or idea, and she's not having any part of it. She doesn't want it. So let's keep these 2 here in mind and pull a few others. So what happened in that hour? What happened that morning, Amy? Tell us what happened that morning. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I'm just going to go over these other cards here. And if we need to look at them again, we can. Oh, okay. Gosh. All right, so what happened that morning? Well, her whole world was drastically changed that morning, which we know. And then we have this guy here, the devil. So we have something. We have somebody on that boat that caused, this to happen. I honestly think that first pull was her coming through and saying, this was my life at the moment. This is what was going on. And then someone offered her or approached her with something, and she did not want anything to do with it. And then all hell breaks loose. And so we don't know who this person is. Is this person, I often think about this case, or not often, but like today when I was looking at this case, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, what would make logical sense for her to be on the balcony at 5:15 and then be gone at 6? Now, the dad is saying that, it was uncommon for her to leave without telling someone that she was going someplace. But I don't know if they knew their plans that day. I don't know what time the parents typically get up. Are these morning people? Are they afternoon people? Did they have particular plans that day? Is it possible that she just went up to maybe go look at the sunrise on the top of the ship, or go have a cigarette, or have a cup of coffee, maybe go get a cup of coffee? Would she do that herself at 5:30 or 5:45 and not wake up anybody because she just doesn't want to wake them up? But then I also read something where she would write notes for people, that she would often leave a note. I think I watched an interview where the mom said that they looked for a note because she would often leave notes. So if she didn't want to wake someone up, but she still wanted to let people know where she was going, she would have left a note. Okay, so there was no note. So then I have to start thinking, okay, did something else make her leave? This is 1998. I don't think they had smartphones. I can't remember if in 1998 they had if they had flip phones where you could text, or did somebody text her and say, hey, meet me out on the top of the boat, we'll watch the sunrise, we'll have a cup of coffee and have a cigarette or something, or did somebody knock on the door? I don't know. So would they risk knocking on the door and not wanting to wake up everybody, or maybe even think that people were sleeping? I don't know. Something, I think, made her leave that room, that cabin. Was it on her own fruition, or was it by someone else? So that someone else is going to be this person. And we do know that she was dancing with an Alistair Douglas, known as Yellow, part of the Blue Orchid band in the dance club. So we do have some specks of yellow in here. You have to look at little clues like that. So we do have these little specks of yellow. And this is a very seductive looking person trying to lure, so was this a person, and this yellow guy, if he is involved in it, if we are talking about trafficking, he's probably a low man on the totem pole. He's probably the one out there doing the work and trying to get her to trust him and lure her someplace, and then, his duty is over, his job is over. And we have the Seven of Pentacles, so we have planting our seeds and watching them grow. So this is definitely kind of sevens are reflection. This is after you've done the initial work, you've done part of the work, and now you're kind of reaping the rewards of your work and seeing some outcome and growth. And so is this, are we talking about the trafficking? Is this, to me, this is growth in financial. So is this something that is a moneymaker? That's kind of where I'm leaning. The Ace of Swords are air. Air is your conscious, your thoughts. It can be intelligence, the way you vocalize things. This is a very, you've got all these different little symbols. Hopefully you can see that. You've got all these little formulas down here and these little scientific symbols. This is basically a new thought process, a new idea. Okay, so you're thinking of something new. And I'm kind of wondering, I think this is her. And I do think that there was some sort of new idea. Her wheels in her brain were turning that morning. Something was on her mind. We've got, where was that other card at? We've got this here. Was there something, did someone approach her and offer something that she said no to, but was she thinking about it? Was she considering it? Was it something on her mind? Did someone approach her with some sort of idea? And it could have been just something as simple as, come off the boat with us and we'll go to a club or something like that. It could have been just something as what we would think of as innocent as that. We get off the boat, we go to a club, we have dinner, and we come back on the boat, and whatever. Maybe there was something even like that occurred, and maybe she said no, but maybe was still considering it. I don't know. The Knight of Wands. This is action. This is taking action. So I don't know if this is her necessarily. I think it's kind of the knight I would consider as typically a male. That's just in my own head. It doesn't have to be a male, but I kind of feel like this is the person. This would to me represent more along the lines of this Alistair Douglas guy. This was the guy out there doing the work, out there having a good time, right? They were having a good time. We've got the pictures of them dancing at the nightclub or the dance club, having a good old time, having some drinks, smiling, laughing, doing his job, right? If that's his job to kind of, lure these women into his grip here, that would be his job. So, he wasn't just doing, having a nice time like she was. He had a motive behind what he was doing. That's kind of where I'm leaning. So I think that this is more this guy here than it is her. But whatever it was, it had the wheels in her brain turning a little bit. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles. So what is this queen doing in here? Who does this represent? I don't think it represents Amy, and I don't think it represents her mom. So who is this financially secure woman, this older woman? Who is this? Is this this guy's boss, maybe? I don't know. So so tell us what happened. Can you tell us what happened that morning? We want to know what the devil did. What happened? Did you leave the cabin? Or did someone make you leave? Did you leave on your own, or did someone make you leave? We have a group of people. Her walking away. We have more celebrations. Queen of Wands. Eight of Wands. The Hermit. All right, so we've definitely got a group of people. So this organization is definitely run by several individuals, and they all have a role to play in this network. Each of them has their own role. Like, for example, and again, this is for entertainment purposes only, but his name is on Wikipedia, so I'll just say it. But I'll say Yellow. So Yellow's job is just as important and intricate as the top person's role, right? They all have a role to play in order to make this work. So I do think that is what that is. I think, again, this is, the night leading up to it. It was just a bunch of fun dancing and singing and celebrations. That was definitely the atmosphere in which they tried to, use and create and get everybody comfortable. And then we have the Queen of Wands. So I don't know yet. I don't know who this is. We've got that Queen of Pentacles and we've got the Queen of Wands. Is this something that's run by women? It's a possibility, just because it's, let's just say we're talking about trafficking. It doesn't necessarily have to be just men, right? There's women out there that I'm sure are as equal to blame as any man. So right now I'm kind of looking at this and I'm like, okay, is this a network that's run and controlled by women? You wouldn't even think of that, right? So let's hold that out. And then let's go to the Eight of Wands, because the Eight of Wands I think is important. Talking about this 1 hour in the morning, whatever happened, it happened fast. Okay, so the Eight of Wands is communication, fast communication, email, text, something really quick. Whatever happened, there was some sort of communication that took place. There was something, okay, whether it was a text. Again, we're in 1998. I cannot remember. If we had, I know we didn't have smartphones. Did we have flip phones where we could text? But there was some sort of communication that was going on. And this all happened very, very, very swiftly. Now, we know it happened swiftly because we know that she was there on the balcony at 5:15 and she wasn't there on the balcony at 6. And to me, this leads me to believe that someone lured her out. I know I was going back and forth between, did she just go up to the top of the boat to maybe get a cup of coffee or watch the sunrise? I don't think so. I don't think she did by herself. I think something made her leave that boat. They lured her out of that boat somehow. I don't know if there was a knock on the door. I don't know if a knock on the door would wake up anybody else that was in there. I don't know how big these cabins are. I've never been on a ship. I've never been on a cruise ship. Never plan on going on a cruise ship. So I don't know if there are, like luxury cabins where if you have a family of 4, if there's a 2-bedroom and a living area. I don't know what these cabins look like, but if somebody were to knock on the door, would mom and dad hear it or would they not? Okay, maybe a light tap or something. I don't know, but this tells me that somebody made her leave that cabin, I think, and it was intentional. And then to me, we have her walking away. I think this is definitely her leaving this cabin. I do. I think it's, and look, I just said the sunrise. This is, okay, so I honestly think that the reason for her leaving the cabin was to look at the sunrise. I do. I think she was actually going out to look at the sunrise. And I think it was due to an invitation. I think somebody communicated with her, and they somehow communicated with her and said, hey, let's go up and look at the sunrise. We'll have a cup of coffee. We'll have a cigarette. And that was just appealing enough to her to do that. It's an innocent request, really, when you think about it. If you're not dealing with the devil, right? If you're not dealing with this guy here, there'd be no problem with going up and seeing the sunrise and having a cup of coffee and enjoying the morning for half an hour and going back down to your room and starting your day. But she had no idea she was having, coffee with this person or whatever they had. So definitely I do think that was one of the reasons why she left, or that was the luring tool, is watching the sunrise that day, because it was around that time in the morning. What else do we have? And we have the Hermit. So we have introspection. This is just kind of I kind of feel like this is her. I don't know. This is an interesting one. Maybe, I don't know, maybe she was going out there by herself. Maybe the communication came later. Maybe she went out there to have a moment by herself, but she had that moment in the cabin on the balcony. So I'm not quite sure. I don't, this is an introspection, learning who you are as a person, developing yourself as a person. What was that the mindset of her at that time? Was just that her, her age group, her lifestyle, her life at that moment. Things were going great. I think things were really going good for her, really, at this point in time. She's very content, very happy, getting to know who she was as a person, as an adult. Came across this guy, and it just created this. All hell broke loose. All right, let me do a couple more cards on this one here. Oh, we have the Lovers. Okay. The Ace of Wands. Let me do one more. The Eight of Pentacles. All right, so we have the Eight of Pentacles, the Lovers, and the Ace of Wands. So it's like you've been on this ship for like what, 1 or 2 days. Is that enough time to create any kind of emotional feelings with anybody? I don't think so, but we don't know how thick this yellow guy was laying it on, right? I mean, was he like putting it out pretty thick and pretty disgusting? Again, I'm like in my early 40s, so I'm like, ugh. But you're talking about a 23-year-old young woman, a pretty young woman. My middle son is 23, so they don't necessarily, if this guy yellow was laying it on pretty thick, pretty hot and heavy, that might have been an attraction to somebody that age. I kind of feel like it was him, and I think he was kind of encouraging possibly the potential of a relationship. We don't know what he said to her. I mean, he could have been just saying things like, hey, you know what, we were meant to, the fact that we met on this boat, it's like we were meant to be, let's share numbers and we can maybe, think about pursuing a relationship after this vacation, and I'll come to see you where you're at and you can come out to see me. I mean, we don't, he could have been saying all sorts of shit to her. And that was, again, getting those wheels spinning. It was getting those things in her mind spinning. I don't think she was into it in the beginning. I don't think that she was really falling for it right away, because we have that Four of Cups wherever it went. We have this card here. I don't think she was buying it at first. But, some men, and this guy here, they're very convincing, and they don't give up. They persevere, right? They keep going and keep going until they get you. And I think it was just enough to get her wheels spinning in her head. So I think that there was promise of a relationship, and he was using that as his tool to lure her in, to trust him, to get her alone. And then, Ace of Wands, this is just, again, that early spark of something. I think that he got her just enough to just get her to be able to say, what's the harm in going and having a cup of coffee and watching the sunrise? What's the harm in that? It's just coffee, right? We're just watching the sunrise. I'll be back here in like 20 minutes. I do think that is what is coming out. And then we have patterns. We have the Eight of Pentacles. This is money. So we've got a couple of pentacles showing up. We've got some money coming into the situation. Eight of Pentacles is work. Okay, it's consistent working. It's a pattern of behavior. And so I do think that this was definitely a situation that definitely involved money. Money is definitely coming out. Okay, so we have, working money. We have financial stability. We have money growing. So this is definitely a money maker, right? If this is what it is, if it's the trafficking, it's a money maker, right? So that's what they probably looked at her as, is their money maker. Sad to say, and I hate to even say it like that, but that's what I think it is. So interesting cards that came out there. Let's go ahead and go to the New Era Elements deck. What I want to ask is, when the parents first found out that their daughter, they couldn't find her, and they go to the ship, they asked the ship if they could dock, if they could just, not let anybody off, not let anybody on, so they could check. The ship refuses. And I think at that point, the parents were afraid that maybe somebody had taken her off the ship, and so the parents stayed. I think they stayed in Aruba. It wasn't until afterwards where they found out that the ship did not do the search that they claimed they did, and they flew to meet the ship in its next location, which was Curacao. So what I want to know is, where was she in those couple of days? You know, where was Amy? Amy, where were you in those couple of days, right when this thing first happened? Where were you at? Where were you located at right after this happened? Where were you kept? Where were you kept? Where were you located? Okay, so this tells me she was on the water. I think that she was on the boat. She was definitely on the boat. This is all water. So when her parents got off that boat thinking that they did an extensive search, she was still on the boat. That's the way I'm looking at that card. Okay, hold on. Let me ask another question. Where were you being kept on the boat? Let's see if we can find that out. Where were you being kept on the boat? See, we've got deception. I honestly think that this card here, the success card, came out because their little plan was very successful. The deception was very successful. I think definitely, again, okay, entertainment purposes only. I am saying that this guy Yellow has definitely way more to do with it than he is portraying. Definitely way more to do with it. What I don't know is if the ship or the cruise line has more to do with it, or it's just negligence on their part. But I do think that this little adventure was successful. And guess what? It's not just him. It's a group of people, okay? There's more than him. So we've got at least 6 people involved in this whole situation, but he was definitely the front person, the person to, pull her in and lure her in and get her. So that's how I'm reading those 3 cards. Where were you kept on the boat? Where were you at on the boat? Oh my God. Where were you kept on the boat? So we've got a cage. Okay, I didn't expect that one. Where were you kept on the boat? Oh God, a cage? Okay, where at on the boat? Was it in a cabin? Was it in a workroom? Like what? Where at? Son of Fire. So we have the Knight of Wands. Fire. Honestly, just the fact that this is fire, I know this sounds ridiculous. I don't know anything about cruise ships or boats or anything, but and this sounds really ridiculous, but I'm thinking back to the movie of Titanic, and the lower part of the boat where the power, that was like, okay, back in whatever era it happened. I'm sure boats aren't powered like that anymore, but when I seen fire, that's just kind of what my mind went to. And I'm thinking, is this someplace underneath where the powering of the boat takes place? Was she kept in something underneath? And if that's the case, then you would have a very hard time trying to convince me that this cruise ship doesn't know what's going on. Because I guarantee you, if you or I were on a cruise ship and we wandered down a hallway that said employees only, there would be some camera or some security person saying, ma'am, you're not allowed to be down here. So how hard would it be to get a person, a human being, down underneath into a workspace and into a hidden area of the boat? Like, it's not something that it can be done easily, right? So this tells me, kind of like makes me feel that the cruise ship is involved in this. Is the cruise ship involved in this? Is the cruise ship involved in this? Daughter of Water. The Daughter of Water. So we've got the Page of Cups. Page of Cups. This is again that beginning feelings, new feelings developing. Water, 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 water. I don't know. Here, let me keep drawing. Is the cruise ship involved in this? The Chariot. Yeah, I would say yeah, the cruise ship is involved in this. I mean, this is the Chariot. This is an object that is providing motion, right? The Chariot is usually represented by a carriage or a horse and buggy or a car, a train, or whatever. It is a mechanism that provides travel. So in my eyes, yes, this is saying that to me, the cruise line or the cruise ship is just as involved in this shit as anybody else. Again, it can be a passive or an active involvement. Is it just involvement where, yeah, go ahead, do whatever you guys want to do. We don't want anything to do with it, because that's involvement too. So definitely I think that the ship is involved with it, the line, and entertainment purposes only, right? The dark clouds, to me, that represents darkness. Again, I'm kind of getting this engine kind of vibe from this. This is like an engine. Power room. I'm still thinking of power room. I even placed it on top of the fire card. I kind of feel like she was definitely held in some sort of lower area of the ship, possibly in a cage, in a room or something, but she was definitely held there. I think that if the boat had docked and they had looked everywhere in cabins, they wouldn't have found her. They would have to go into these other areas of the ship, and I don't know if they would have. A decent cruise ship that, cared about people and was like there for safety would have done that, but I don't know about this one here in this situation. So let's see, how long? Well, where did you go? Where did you go from there? Where did you go after this? How did they get you off? How did they get you off the boat? They had to get you off the boat somehow. How'd they get you off that boat? Illusion. Well, they definitely did it in a sneaky way. They did it in a sneaky way. I mean, we've got illusion right here. So, seeing things that aren't really there, making people think that something's there and it isn't, or maybe making people think that something isn't there when it is. That's when I think of when I see this card. And we've got two camels, right? What do camels do? They store water. They store water. That's what they have their humps for. So they can go off into the desert and, not have to have water for ages. So this is, storage. This is storage. To me, this is storage that you wouldn't think a person would be in. I think that she was put into something and they got her off of that boat because it made it look like it was an illusion. Nobody would guess that a person would be inside of this item. That's what I think. I think they got her off of that boat because they put her in something that nobody would second guess. Oh God, this is horrible. Where did you go from here? Or where did you go from there? Where did you go from there? Was this in... Actually, let's ask, was this in Carousel? Was this in Carousel? Did this take place in Carousel? Okay, so we've got, what is that? That is fire. We've got a lot of fire. Got a lot of fire going on, man. This is Five of Wands. So the Five of Wands, conflict, competition. Okay, let's hold that thought for a second. Did they take you off in Carousel? They take you off in Carousel. Knowledge. What is that? The Six of, that's the air sign. So we've got the Six of Swords. Six of Swords. Knowledge and conflict. I don't know. Usually the Five of Wands makes me feel competition. It's a competition card to me. You know, is that saying that this location, you know, was competitive for this kind of transaction? Ooh, I dropped a whole bunch. Did somebody, oh, okay, just dropped one. Did somebody know? To me, the knowledge, it makes me feel like somebody had information about this. Maybe somebody knew. I was kind of asking about the ship, and so I'm kind of feeling like these two are referring to the cruise line, honestly. You know, maybe they have knowledge of what's going on, but they don't want to get involved in it. They don't want to cause any kind of conflict. That's kind of where I'm leaning to. I really do. So it's basically, I mean, in essence, yes, they are still involved in it, because if they are turning a blind eye to it, that is still, to me, being involved, okay? They're trying to avoid any kind of conflict with these people. We don't know how big of a, you know, situation trafficking is. I mean, I think that we all have an idea that it's way bigger than what we imagined. But we don't really know who's at the top of it. We don't know who is all involved. I think we'd all be like shocked if we knew. But I think that these cruise ships probably don't want to get into the middle of it, and so they decide to turn a blind eye. They are knowledgeable about it, but they don't want anything to do with it. So that's what I honestly think that those two cards are. And then the one that fell down was swiftness. I think that this all happened very, very fast. It was done, I think, immediately when the boat parked or, you know, landed in Curacao. I do think that this is all happening in Curacao. I think she was on the boat when her parents got off the boat, you know, and, you know, made it to Curacao. And I think that they managed to keep her someplace where people didn't know. They managed to get her off the boat in a very, very sneaky way. And very quickly. So let me just pull, let me get these out of the way, and then I'll pull like maybe one more round with this, and then, oh my God, I'm at 47 minutes. Jesus, it's ridiculous. I try to keep my videos like under an hour, but it never happens. All right, so let's ask, where are you now? What is the situation now? What is your situation in present day? Okay, that's good. Interesting, very interesting. Okay, so asking about her present day situation, we've got the Sun. That's interesting because it has been a long time. You know, she's been gone now probably as long as she had, you know, wherever she's been there as long as she had been at her home. Okay, if that makes sense. You know, she's been gone just as long as she was alive at that point. So has this, and I hate to even say it like this, but has this become like her new normal? Has there been some sort of change or transition, you know, where she is no longer in the situation that she once was? And perhaps, I don't know, because I'm looking at this and I'm seeing the Truce, which is the Four of, you know, what is this? That's the air sign. It always takes me a second to read these signs, but that's the air sign. So that's swords. So this is the Four of Swords. This is that rest card. You know, so kind of like that giving up, that white flag moment is what it is. You know, maybe just acceptance of what it is. It's become the new norm. You've acclimated to it somehow. We still have this emperor coming up. Well, he didn't come up before, but we've got this emperor coming up. And it makes me think that there is some leader, some person that is behind this, the person that is maybe in charge of this whole scheme. I think he still watches her. He's still around her. They don't let her, I think that they still follow her. They stick with her. She's with the same group of people always. But we've got a baby here. We've got that little baby elephant. And so, yeah, we're going on 20 some odd years. And I kind of almost, I don't know. I'm looking at that little baby elephant and I'm wondering if she's had a child. And that child may have brought some happiness. No matter how the child got here, the child, if she did have a child, again, entertainment purposes only, if she does have a child, that child may have brought some sort of happiness and some acceptance to the situation. And maybe even a little bit of balance has been restored. We don't know what her situation is. I do believe she is alive, but at this point in time, has so much time went on that maybe she's planted some new seeds. Has she planted some new seeds, and now those seeds are starting to grow? Is there a life that has been developed that is definitely different from the life that she had when this first happened? But time has gone by. This woman's in her 40s now. I don't know. So let's see here. Are there any children? Have you had any children? Are there any children? So I'm asking about a child. I'm definitely looking for any kind of page to come up. Definitely the Fool in this deck would indicate a baby because it is a baby. So something along those lines. So is there a child? Is there a child in your life right now? Is there a child? Well, we've got Ace of Water, so we've got new. Okay, new beginnings. Is there a child? We've got the Religion card. We've got the Work card, and we've got the Wealth card. So no page or anything coming up, but we do have the Ace of Water, so the Ace of Cups. So this is kind of a new beginning, and new feelings. So that could definitely kind of indicate something. We've got work. We've got bees working here, busy bees. So who is this referring to? I kind of almost feel like this is the family that hasn't given up. I feel like this is mom, dad, and brother. I think that even though all this time has went on, I don't think that they have ever continued to, or have ever, thought about ever giving up. They've continued to work. They do have, rewards out, for any information that could lead to finding their daughter. I do kind of feel like this is definitely the family. Okay, and the Hierophant that's coming up, I don't know. The Hierophant comes up. There's some religious aspect to it. Is it crazy religion? We pulled the devil earlier. So is it, cult? This is a diverse religious card. So we've got all these symbols here representing diversity. That could just simply be coming up because maybe they move around a lot. Maybe they go worldwide. Maybe she's in Africa one day and Asia the next, and in the Middle East the next. I don't know. That could be coming up simply because of the diversity of the region that she's staying in at any given time. Or it could be religion. It could be some form of religion. So there's that aspect. And then we have the Wealth card, which is going to be your Ten of Pentacles. So, this is, I would guess, honestly, in my opinion, I think that whatever, it's possible, and I hope this is actually the case, it's possible that she has found herself in a financial, secure situation. We don't know what happens in these situations. Was there a chance that she got out maybe? Did she get out? Did she find somebody and restart a life? Maybe she decided she didn't want to go back home because she was afraid that they would find her. Maybe she didn't want to risk going back home. Maybe she did get away. Maybe she's just scared to death to go back home, and she's just in hiding, and she travels around the world to stay away from them, but for somehow has found herself in a financial situation. There's that possibility. The possibilities are really endless at this point. Let me ask that question. Are you still being held against your will? Are you still being held against your will? Are you still being held against your will? Okay, that's not good. All right, so I think that rules that out, unfortunately. I do think that with this card, it's definitely indicating that she is still being held against her will. I hate to say this, but, I'm going to throw out just a possibility of Stockholm Syndrome. There's that we have to consider. We're not talking about 6 months or 5 years or 10 years. We're talking about 20 years, okay, that she has been gone. And again, when you consider the swords, this is in your head. So this is maybe how she feels. Maybe she feels trapped in that she can't leave. She may very well not be able to. She may very well be trapped because she was taken. She was stolen, I believe. So, but the timing has changed now. We're talking like 20 some odd years later. So is it still the exact same situation as it was 20 years ago? Or is it a different situation? And maybe because you remember when these are swords, if an average day person pulls this card, this is in your head. This is something that you can combat, and you can move these swords. You can untie yourself. You can get out of this situation. There's nothing keeping you in this situation. You can walk out of it. Is she in a situation where she could potentially leave, but at this point just feels like she can't? Maybe it's just a feeling. Maybe it's just she's just gotten used to this being held against her will. I don't know. It could be either one. Okay, so I'm kind of wondering if she's now in a situation where so much time has went on, and just maybe just doesn't feel like she could leave, but maybe could. I don't know. I don't even want to say that or put that out there really, but that's something that I'm considering here. Do you have any children? Oh, we have the Page of Cups. So again, I did say that if I pulled a page or anything like that in this card, that would to me kind of lean for a child. And so the fact that the Page of Cups is coming out, I kind of wonder if maybe she has a child. Is there a daughter? Do you have a daughter? Well, we have a king. So who is this person? I don't think that this is her father. I think this is another male influence on her life, and this is definitely somebody that is wealthy. Okay, so do you have a family? Is this a family? Oh, 10 of Wands. Yeah, this is definitely, yeah. So if you just look at these cards here, it is possible. It is possible that she has a daughter. And I think that even no matter the circumstances, if that's the case, if she does have a child, let's say hypothetically, she definitely loves that child. There are positive emotions around that child, no matter where that child came from or who that child came from. I think that she loves that child, if that's the case. But who is this person here? Is this the child's dad? Okay, is this somebody with money, somebody high on the totem pole that this child is with? And this is her feelings right now with him. Definitely, I would say definitely trapped. A feeling of being trapped, a feeling of being bound. Definitely very angry. This woman is very, very angry. I think, and who wouldn't be after 20 years of being held hostage and forced to leave your family behind and you know, start this new life of being a captive. You know, so definitely holds a lot of anger inside of her. Very, very angry at this person here. So whoever this person is, and it might be in relation to a child perhaps, definitely not good feelings towards this man, and definitely feels trapped and unable to get out of her situation, and she probably is not able. So I take off the Stockholm. I take that off because I do feel that with these two cards, I do feel like it is impossible for her to leave, and that if she could leave, she would. You know, but there is this aspect that this is coming out, and so I do think that that is something that she has to hold on to, is possibly a child. Is there any other thing that you want to tell us? Is there any other thing that you want to tell us? Yeah, okay. She can't get out. She's, you know, this is that shitty situation, that shitty choice that you have to make, okay? I always compare, you're asking your child who misbehaved, do they want to give up, you know, 2 days of telephone or iPhone, or do they want to give up 2 days of gaming, okay? Both are shitty, right? They don't want to give up, they don't want to choose either one, but they have to choose one, okay? So that's that shitty choice that no matter what you choose, it's not gonna be good. And so I'm wondering if, I kind of believe that she has a child. I do. I did say if a page or a fool came up in one of these cards, the fools is represented by a baby. So I said if a page came up or the fool card came up, the baby, then potentially she has a child. And lo and behold, the page of cups comes up. So I do think that there could be a child, and, you know, maybe it is that situation where, you know, perhaps she can go without the child, or, you know, she stays with the child. And I think really, if we're being honest, she would want to go with the child. And maybe perhaps that's not an option. Maybe she is, you know, determined not to leave the daughter, and in a situation where she is willing to stay and deal with this shit here for the child, because leaving the child is not an option. That's kind of where I'm leaning. Anything else that you want to end on? Anything else that you want to end on? Oh my God. Okay, so we've got the Empress. I do not think that this is her mother. I think that she is a mother now. I do think that she's a mother. I really do. I think that she has a child. She has a child. She has a daughter, I think. I would bet anything she has a daughter. That daughter brings her happiness. She's got that. I really do believe that in my heart of hearts, that she has a daughter to hold on to, and that part of her brings her some happiness in life. There hasn't been a whole lot of happiness in her life, but I think that does bring that to her. And I do think it's a girl. I think she has a girl. Let's pull one more card. One last thing that you want to tell us. One last thing that you want to tell us. Three of Swords. Yeah, so lots of heartbreak. What a card to end on. I feel like I need to draw another one just to not end on the Three of Swords, because the Three of Swords is heartbreak. You know, that's betrayal, backstabbing. And I do think that she is a very conflicted person. I think if she does have a child, and I think that she does, I think she's very, on one hand, very motherly because of this Empress card. She's very motherly, very caring, very nurturing to the child, but literally despises the person perhaps that she had this child with, and is very, very angry and just disappointed with how things have turned out in her life, but has that at least. Let me just pull one more, because I really don't want to end on a Three of Swords. One last message, one last thing that you want to say. Oh my God. The Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords. Can we get a good card? The Knight of Swords. Yeah, this is that action card. This is, I don't know. This isn't really a good one either to end on. I don't like the Knight of Swords in this particular deck. He kind of looks dark and like a vampire or something like that. But I think that she's just kind of, I think that there's so much hatred and anger and frustration with this person that she is with. Doesn't want to be with him, and you know, looks at him like, you know, even this king, you know, this King of Pentacles, he doesn't look like a very nice guy. He doesn't look like a very kind guy. Okay, he's very I don't know, he just has that look about him where he's not very nice. Okay, yeah, he's loaded, right? He has a lot of wealth, you know, but he doesn't look like a very compassionate man. And so that kind of makes me feel like she is definitely saying that, you know, this man has money probably, but he's an asshole. You know, she hates him. She despises him. So I think I'm going to end it there. This did not go the way I expected it to. I think a lot of information came out. This probably does need a part 2, but you know, for now, I hope that you enjoyed this reading. And let's keep the prayers and positive thoughts and vibrations for this woman. And if she has children, for her children, that one day she can be reunited with her family. So until the next time, guys, thank you so much. And again, have a wonderful 2021. I'll see you next time. Bye.